Side today we look at climate change. Let's care about climate change. We don't really care about climate change. Let's care about the earth and let's care about ourselves. But climate change is what we need to focus on so that we could know where we are targeting and we could get some effective strategies going forward. Today's broadcast is coming, of course, by my 3C. So my 3C is this little turtle who's smiling right now because he's still in the green zone. But as time goes by, we would see the dry zone coming here. And so my 3C is encouraging conversation today before we get into the dry zone. So we want to continue to raise awareness on climate change, and my 3C's poster for the month is simply placed here with a message that says that if you have to imagine a world where 90% of the heat that's supposed to go up into the house, up into the roof, and get out to the galvanize, it's being absorbed by the ocean. What is happening? And that's why my 3C is leading this conversation. So this is my 3C. And there's a risk, and my 3C is trying to help us to build our awareness. The more we build awareness, is better we could go. We are looking for sponsorship. Today's publication is sponsored by Authentic Print Studios in Grenada, and they are a print shop, and we are looking for some support to help sponsor a number of these decals, which can be used to help bring across the message about my 3C. So contact us if you have any interest in sponsoring, whether you want to sponsor into the publications or whether you want to sponsor directly, for example, the pen or the pencils for the students or the t-shirts here. You could do some and sponsor it. Remember, all the sponsorships are targeted towards Grenadians to raise the awareness about climate change and its impact on your health in Grenada. So this is what we imagine the Caribbean look like at this point in time. Beautiful with flowers and all the pina coladas and beautiful sunset. And of course, it's still like that, but it's much more colorful these days. In fact, I see purple sometimes. Now imagine the impact of climate change that would have on the food security and the nutrition in our small island states such as Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominica. These are the things that I think we need to talk about and have meaningful conversations around. So this publication gives you a very short synopsis of the items that results in us having to move to foods sooner or later that are non-nutritional, and that is where we want to go to spend some time in this publication today to look at what happens over time when we have so much carbon in the air and so little water with the plants, because remember, the plants are the one that is dealing with the carbon. They don't just take in carbon, they take in carbon in the presence, or they take in carbon with water and they convert that into glucose. That's basic science that we need to understand fundamentally from the plant or the on island or the land creation of plants and how it operates. And then we also have to understand with the soil, with the seawater, how the carbon gets absorbed in the seawater due to the warmth of the seawater providing the energy, and we have more carbon in the water, which would lead us to those kind of risk for the fish, the food, the color. Well, I have callaloo here because it's just fun to have callaloo, but the crabs, the corals, the fish, that these things are at risk. And fish makes up a strong part of our nutrition, which is the amino acids that come from the protein base of fish, is critical for many of us in the Caribbean. Maybe most of us in the Caribbean eat fish. I don't have the data, but I think maybe 80-90% of us eat fish at some point in our life. During our day-to-day cycle, we will try to consume some fish. This is a big risk for us right now, because when you think about our land situation, most of the food that we grow in the Caribbean, let's say banana, which is our staple in the Caribbean, dashing was still another one. Banana, dashing, yams, all those things are basically carb-based foods. They don't give us any amino acids when they digest. They are basically providing starch, fibers, and sugars, glucose, to our system. So energy, but you do need, and remember, the body is made of what is called amino acids combined together called make proteins, and so we need a lot of that. But how do we get it? We get it a lot from fish. We do have beef and a few goats and so forth. We have wild meat, but these things have already been on the down low. So fish has been on our targeted source of amino acids or protein in the Caribbean. So when you look at it, you say, what does coral have to do with this whole conversation? Well, the fish basically gets the sustenance from the coral. The coral gets its sustenance from something called algae, and when the water gets hot, the algae basically don't want to stay with the coral, and the coral start getting bleached dying, and then the fish now start saying I have to look for new food, and that is where the risks start coming. The fish may not die, but they may migrate, and so they migrate to places where the water is more sustainable for coral life, and we end up with these callaloo waters without any crab, without any fish. What has been purported by the scientific literature and has been there for a while is that there will be a lack of nutrition such as zinc, protein, and iron in a great abundance due to this high amount of carbon in our atmosphere. Again, the literature is showing that our forest and our water system, and I don't think we need the literature for this one in Grenada in 2024. We are seeing what's happening with our forest and our water system, and even the forest fires that are being purported across the small island state of Grenada. So this magazine goes into a little detail and shows how we have the economic impact that would happen on our health and our nutrition, because there would be an influx of non-nutritional food. I call them non-nutritional food because they are non-nutritional food, just salt, sugar, and unhealthy fats. And we have a photo here to show you what type of food. Now you would think that you're hungry, so you eat anything, but that's you, the emotions. When it comes to your nutritional physically, you don't eat these things to get anything. You eat basically, if you look at what you're having here, a lot of salt, sugar, and fats. When you speak about food, you need to think about your amino acids, which is what we call dietary protein. Peas, legumes, and stuff is important for the vegetarians, and a mixture of those, and then proper animal, non-processed animal meats, quite important for us as meat eaters. Nutritional deficiency would grow, chronic disease would grow. We would see a lot of that happening in the very near future, and that is because our food is bankrupt, meaning that the food is there looking like food, dressing like food, but basically under the dress is not food, it's just covering. And then that all this would just burden our health system, our healthcare system, which is already burdened. And you know the whole cycle that happens here. We have a burden healthcare system from birth to child, and to everybody would be under stress, and that's what we are trying to ensure that we avoid. So our awareness this week is for us to look at recommendations, solutions for us that we could take, active solutions that you as an individual could take. And notice soil is highlighted here: sunlight, soil, and water. These three inputs are quite important. Notice this is not fertilizer, this is soil, so you know what I'm speaking about here. The grass and the bioorganisms from the grass, and the animal manure, organic manure, and stuff to do your own stuff at your home. Again, policies at the higher level means that you understand the policy of importing high quality stuff. So before you go to import anything as an individual and at your country level, you have to know that you are not just going to import something that has a dress. You have to look under the dress to see, well, cat in bag. The Caribbean statement is you don't buy cat in bag, and that's what's going to happen to our food system. We would end up buying a name product that's supposed to be a product. It's named that way, but it's not giving you any nutrition, and that's why we need to know what we are buying when we are buying. Even the supplements, we have to be careful as we go forward. We also have to focus on the minimization of the importation and usage of those sides. The climate resilient, investing in climate smart agriculture, well, we see this is a big imperative right now because of the rain situation in Grenada in 2024, in May 2024. Catching water from the rain to where the plants, quite important. It is said that bamboo and coconuts and those things are very good to help with reducing carbon. More would be said in other literature on that. Having animals around for our protein intake, quite an important part of the game, and ensuring that we try to maybe find out what grass we could plant to make into hay, and them kind of things would also become a part of the cycle going forward. So in our awareness building right now, which is what we are trying to do, we would want to connect with many people as possible. We want to get some sponsors, so become a sponsor. Whatever way you could sponsor, whether you share or whether you could get persons. We are really targeting to raise $150,000 to get into a significant project of awareness across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, from the perspective of climate change and the impacts on your health. Thank you for viewing. Remember, the website is in the bottom. You could download a copy of this slide today in a PDF. Look on your phone, read for yourself, and send back feedback to us. If you are coming to Grenada anytime soon, please know that we are also in the hot part of the Caribbean right now. We are in the hotter part of the Caribbean, so be prepared to walk with a little fan. We do have water, we do have, beach, but you still know that you want to have with some electrolytes, because you may not be able to get coconut water because it's in demand all around. So take care. Thank you. This is me, M3C, the voice of M3C, signing out.